So how is your day, everyone? I think this would be kind of an interactive session rather than kind of a blind session where everybody is listening and I'm talking. So who would like to talk with me? First of all, raise your hand. Do you know there is a feature called raise hand in this Zoom? Is it enabled for us? Can you raise your hand? Okay, then let me suggest you like this. Can all of you switch on your microphone and say good morning? Everyone, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
Good morning.
Good.
Morning, sir.
Right.
Good
At
morning.
least I hear your sound now. So let me tell you why I am telling that. Yeah, good. The reason I wanted all of you to talk and I wanted all of you to present is like this. The online things are a little bit kind of a distance thing. We are not having a physical touch. We don't see each other. We don't see any of your facial expression. So we are kind of blind people who are delivering a lecture without getting any feedback. So if you know the communication principles, the feedback is the most important part. We should know whether the people who are in front of us are understood about these things or not. So that sense will be coming by looking at your body language as well as facial expression. So I'm missing that part. Because of that, let me tell you, anytime if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel you cannot understand these things, whatever thing, please let me know. I'll get back and I will repeat or I can further explain you. Okay, so to get into this presentation, first of all, right, I have named it the final countdown. Why it is so? The reason is you are at the very last portion of your university life or maybe your academic or the academic life. So there can be people who are further doing some masters, PhDs and all, but majority of you will definitely going to the industry right after this couple of months. That is why we are telling this is the final chance you have to be ready for the next era of your life. You have to get ready. Okay. This is your lifeline. Why I say this is your lifeline? You can see at age 0 you born. Then by O levels you can't do anything, but what you can all do is follow the education. Whether you like it or not, legally you are bound to do this. Not you, your parents. So everybody was there in the school. Now thereafter, until 24, age 24, you can't do anything. You haven't done anything. What you have been doing is what? Doing A levels. Why? You wanted to enter to the university. Then you have been in the university and you have been covering up 4 years, almost 4 years of work, maybe 2 years of work or whatever. So the idea of this university life is what? Why you wanted to come into the university? Now, if I ask this question from a lot of students among the university, not only in ICT, they will tell after the university we need to have a degree certificate. To get the degree, we came up. Now, why do you need a degree? Do you need your degree to kind of giving a sense that the people who don't like you, your relations and neighbors and all the people who are not really interested in your going up, right? To show them, okay, I have a degree. Is that the meaning? Or is that your passion? What do you think? Or else, do you need a good job? do you want to find a good way of doing a job? Because what I'm telling you is, if your requirement is not inspiring others around you, you may have done something like a business, your own business or something by after O level. You may have done kind of a little bit of job like vastatu ganeva. Maybe you can have a small shop which you sell some retail things or something like that. Now, if you have done something like that, just calculate the time, the money you could have earned by during this 8 years from age 16 to 24. පොඩි රස්සාවක් කෙරුවා නම් කොච්චර සල්ලි හොයන්න තිබ්බද මේ අවුරුදු 8ට, right? So if you consider a rough calculation, 300 days per year, 65 days you are on kind of you are relaxing, and 300 days and you do something like cleaning houses or painting or something like this, very similar, after age 16. Now for 8 years, if you do that, 1,500 or 2,000 per day, your payment is, let's say 1,500. Now 1,500 into 300 is almost 4.5 lakhs. Multiplied by 8, it is more than what? More than 40 lakhs, right? Then if you have a fixed deposit by now, the return interest will be around 40,000 a month, isn't it? At least minimum 40,000 a month, and you have a fixed deposit of 40 lakhs, 4 million, and you are getting monthly 40,000 rupees as the interest. Then you can either work or you can have that salary, that interest as a salary, and be happy. What do you think? Yeah, you could have done that. So remember, the time you spend from age 16 to 24, that is the most important time. O level fail වෙච්ච ළමයි, A level fail වෙච්ච ළමයි මේ වෙනකොට කතාද නැදලා ළමයිනුත් හදලා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ, have you done that? How many children you have already? Some of the people, they have even got divorced, and they have they are already in the second marriage, right? The people who lost O levels, so they are experiencing their life. Now you have sacrificed everything, and what you are doing is just resting and struggling to get kind of a certificate. Now what is the value of that certificate? What I am telling is, this entire O level age 16 to 24 up to work is time and money spending. The only target, if your only target is this degree certificate, and then only if you are trying to think about your future, you are too late. So I invite typically to think about all these things before you start your career or before you do all A levels. But you are too late now. Now you have to think, why I want to do this degree. Right after the degree, what will happen to me? What is my target? Just think about that. How about this now? After 24 years, you go to a shop, I see it, I like it, I want it, I check the price, I put it back. This is copied from where? The Facebook. Do you want to be like that or not? You have to think. Now, if you have a nice dress, you are seeing a nice dress and you won't be able to buy it, then that is not what you expect. Especially being IT graduates, you don't need to be like this, right? I would say after maybe 4 or 5 years, every 3 months, if you can spend like maybe 20,000, 30,000 for a hotel and be at that hotel and just have a rest without feeling it too much for your pocket, then that is what the financial goals you can achieve, right? That is really viable in the IT industry. IT industry is a highly paid industry with a lot of opportunities. You already know that, right? you may need this, right? If this is not the case, I'm happy. Still, I'm not telling that everybody should have this vision. I don't like this vision as well. But if you have this kind of a salary, that will be really beneficial, because I'm from the same kind of background as most of you, and I was in need of money when I was passing out from the university. Even before I am finishing my A levels, I had to face certain financial problems. Because of that, I had to think about how to earn fast, right? So the suggestion I am giving to you is something like this. Now your age is almost 22, 23, something like that, right? Do you agree with me? You are at that age now. Am I right? Can somebody tell me roughly what is your age?
24, sir.
24. Good. 24, 23, maybe there are certain people might be 25 as well, right? So that can be different. Anyway, you can see now. Now, give me an answer. After this internship, how long you have to stay in your university again? Or are you directly directly going to the industry? Can somebody just answer?
The internship, the internship program is in the last semester, so we'll be directly going to the industry.
Right, good. So my assumption is right. Now you are kind of here, right? And your internship will be starting from this place, and you will be going to work by this position, and you are now so close to your internship, right? Am I right? This is the place currently you are existing. It's mostly, sometimes for some of them it might be 24, some of them it might be 25, some of them it might be 23. So forget about this rough timeline. You are here. Now, if you think about this particular time, including the internship period of 6 months, you may have already kind of 1 year ahead before the work starts, work begins. Now, I would say, when you are trying to start working, right? When you are trying to start working, your salary, starting salary will be different from 35,000 to 200,000. So that is the gap. If you think about, if you take random person who is entering to the IT industry right after the graduation, you will see certain people are getting 35,000 salary, certain people are getting 200,000 salary, certain people are getting 1 lakh of salary, certain people 150,000. So that is the situation. Now, which band you want to be in? That is the question. Which band do you want to be in? That band will be totally depending on the things you are doing during this particular 1 year. Now remember, since birth, you had a target of coming to a good job, right? That is why from 16 O level up to now 8 years, you have been doing a lot just to enter a good job, enter to a good job. Now that is why I'm telling you, invest 1.5 30. You have only 1 remaining, 1 year remaining. If you do this 1 year right, with lot of passion, with lot of sense, then you will start getting a good job and good salary from this point onwards. Now, if you invest that 1 year carefully, you can harvest 30 years since your retirement at age 55, right? What I'm going to suggest you is, right after you are finishing your 30 years of work, you should have minimum kind of, I would say, 200 lakhs or 300 lakhs as your retirement money to spend your retired life, and as maybe as EPF. So you can have some goal like that. Don't worry, it's realistic, right? Considering the IT industry. So to have this kind of a life after this 24, you need to invest here. That's what I have mentioned. Invest one and harvest 30. If you do this investment right, for the rest of the 30 years, you will be having a better life. Okay. Otherwise, you will be kind of your entire 8 years will be a waste. You just have a certificate, but no job. Okay. What you should do now? That's the question. Now, during this year, you have to be a person who can apply to any job with confidence. Become an investor or become an inventor. Those are the three options, right? You have these options. For an example, you may be applying to a job with confidence, whatever you want. That is the beauty. Now I want to do this job and I am applying this job with confidence because I know all the things which is required by these job people, and I have the practical experience and I have learned by myself lot of things regarding that job, right? So you want to become a software engineer or maybe a developer, and you know all the related required knowledge, and you have completed many tutorials and all these things. You have done your own project. Because of that, when you are going to the interview, you are having a lot of confidence that you can inspire the people or the panel of interviewers, right? The second part is become an investor. What you can do is, if you have 1,000 rupees, you can grow it up to 100 million without any issue if you are with the entrepreneur mindset or the investor mindset. So you will be having a tough journey at the beginning, but end of the day, your tunnel, end of the tunnel, you will see a big light, which is really good. And you can become an investor or you can do your own business or anything, right? The third thing, you can become an inventor, especially the people who are joining the university as lecturers, maybe as the academic staff, and doing some masters, PhDs. You all become inventors. But again, I am inviting you, don't try to become just lecturers, right? You may have found out a lot of examples about good lecturers as well as bad lecturers, as well as the lecturers who are doing a valuable thing. Maybe they are doing some extra activities to make sure that they will be contributing to the society, or they will be contributing to the science landscape. They are inventing something. So if you have become a lecturer in the future, or maybe a university staff, please make sure you are doing some inventions as well. You will be doing continuous researches, not just because it is a requirement, primary requirement by the university, to make sure your name is in the science landscape as a top-notch person. So this is the invitation for the people who are going to become academics in the future, or inventors in the future. Now I am targeting this one. I can apply to any job with confidence, but get the job offer without applying. Now, what do you think about this? You are not applying, but you will be getting invitations by many companies. Please join with us. Do you believe this is happening, especially at the undergrad level? You are an undergraduate, and a lot of companies come to you and ask whether you are joining our company. And you don't have any interviews, right? You can directly join. Have you faced something like that? Now that is the ultimate thing. Right after your internship, if your internship offered company is really happy to keep you there, and if they are really impressed about you, then that's the success. If you want to choose a career path like that, right? I'm going to talk about that only today, since due to the limited time. So I would say these two things we can discuss later. We are targeting about the internship. Right. What we expect from you? Is it a first class degree, second upper, second lower, or a degree? What do you think? If you want to enter to the industry, your degree certificate will become the gate pass. It is the gate pass for us. Okay. That's all. Thereafter, once you enter and you have been called for the interview, we are not asking what is your class, what is your degree, and so on at the interview. We are not looking at your certificate. So most of the people you may have seen, they are bringing a file of certificates, right? I have almost maybe 200 certificates with me, right? But nobody has seen it, and I can't remember even where those things. The reason is nobody is looking at these things. We are not bringing our degree certificate when we are going to the industry for an interview. Okay, that's the situation. The reason is we are not checking your certificate, we are checking your brain and your attitude. So these are the expectations we have. The right attitude, curiosity, evidences for ability of self-learning, applicable core knowledge, awareness of current trends, extracurricular activities, analytical skills, logical thinking, and especially I would say this is something called ability to take quick judgment or quick decision about technology, business, as well as social things. So those are things we are looking for, right? So let me tell you, what do you mean by right attitude? Can somebody tell me what do you mean by the right attitude? Yes. Anyone to answer? What is the right attitude? Hello?
An attitude that can fit in with others.
Yes. Okay, you are right. Any other answers? Any other answers? Yeah, actually, attitude is kind of a way of thinking or seeing something. Now, for an example, when you see a fan, you will get a feeling, okay, this is a good fan. It has a lot of wind and it looks real nice, and so on. There are some people look at that particular fan and see, okay, this is kind of the wind is too much and it is consuming a lot of electricity, and that is really bad looking, right? Some of the people say that looks good, but the wind is not enough, right? So there can be many perceptions about the same thing by many people. Now remember, the right attitude, or maybe the attitude, is not only just seeing and giving kind of a perception. It is the settled way of feeling or thinking about something, right? Now there are certain people, when you see that person, there is nothing wrong. He's talking with you fine, helping really well, but you are settled to know about him. Okay, this person is not good, right? Whatever they do, this person is not good. That is the settled way of thinking about that person, right? So attitude is kind of settled way, not just the way you see the thing, right? That is the settled way. There are certain people who are settled to see the problems in everywhere. Have you seen some people like that? If you look at the Facebook, they are complaining everywhere. there are a lot of complaints. Okay, that's the way they settle to think or see the thing. If you think about some of the people, they are always looking at pets and they are helping those pets and helping the others and so on. Now their settled way of thinking is we have to help each other, right? That is the settled way. There are certain people, they are looking for money. They are evaluating everything and they are looking at, for an example, if you get a marriage proposal or if you are going to propose to your girlfriend, that person will not look at her figure or look at her face or anything, but he will be looking at how much money she will have, right? The dowry or anything. There can be girls as well looking at people. So that is the way of settled way. That is what we call attitude. What do you mean by the right attitude? Now, when it comes to industry, the industry expected attitude is something like this. I will do my job because I love it, right? It is my hobby. I am doing technology because it is my hobby. Programming is my hobby. Checking the quality of one of these projects is my hobby. If I can do this, get it done by the time allocated, and I feel like I won the game, then that is the attitude. And I would like to be in a team and help to each other. And I understand that each and every person may have their own problems as well as good things, bad things. And I would love to work with those imperfect people. Can you find perfect people in this world? Perfect person? Yes or no? Have you ever seen perfect person without any issue? All good? I haven't found, right? Even myself, I am not a perfect person. We all do mistakes. So if you are a person who can accept that mistake and live with them, then that is the right attitude. So whatever, for an example, if you are a person always complaining or always blaming, okay, this is not right, we need this, that, and so on, you are not in the right attitude. Okay. The second thing is curiosity. You have to be curious about what you are doing. And we are looking for the curiosity as well. Now, how to measure your curiosity when you are at an interview? Can somebody tell me how your curiosity will be measured when you are in an interview? Any thoughts?
The way we speak or the questions that we ask?
Right. Yes. We ask some questions, right? Most of the time we are asking outside your syllabus, right? For an example, in your syllabus, they are telling that, okay, there is something called normalization, database normalization, and you know normalization. Okay, the first normalization is this, second normalization is this, third normalization is this. Now what we are giving is a non-normalized database. And we are asking, okay, for a project, somebody has done this and why, right? If you know that, or if you can come up with kind of a argument telling, okay, there are certain situations, the normalization will be helpful. There are certain situations, normalization won't be helpful, right? You come up with the answer like that. Now, what does it mean? What does it mean? Yes, normalization is not applicable everywhere. For an example, Facebook, Google, they are not normalizing data. What they are doing is denormalization, right? Why you are denormalizing? To reduce the amount of CPU usage whenever we are querying the value. There are certain things like that. Since this lecture is not about normalization, I'm not going into that detail. Now, that means you are curious. You have found out something more than you were taught. You were taught not normalization in the university, and you have read some articles about normalizations, and you found out, okay, there are certain places the normalization is not applicable. And that also shows the applicable core knowledge as well. When you know all this knowledge, when you have all this knowledge, whether it is applicable or not, you know where to apply, where not to apply, and you have the practice. We have evidences of practice that you have applied these things in various projects. If you have that, that is the industry expectation. Curiosity, mama, simple example එක දෙන්නම්. Now there is a boy who want to take hand of one of the girls, and he's now first day he's going to meet her father. Now father wants to know whether this person is really in love with my girl or so on. Now how he will measure that? Whether that boy is curious about this girl, how to measure as a father or mother? Your answer, please. මම ඇත්තටම ආදරෙයිද කියලා බලන්න යන්නේ ඇත්තටම දැන් බැලුවා. මම ඇත්තටම කැමතියිද, curious. So, how to find it? Any answers? තාම ඔයගොල්ලෝ තාත්තලා අම්මලා නෙමෙයි නිසා හිතාගන්න බැරිද? When your girlfriend or boyfriend is meeting your parents at the first time, what would be the question by your parents to know whether that person really loves you? Okay, this is how it measured, right? If you are really in love with one of your colleagues, maybe like a boy is looking at girl, maybe after 3 days, if you ask about that girl, he will be explaining that girl's behaviors, what to like, what she like to dress, and where she is living, and what she like to eat, and who are the friends, who's the most the closest friend, who are the neighbors, who are the other boys trying to this girl, everything he will know within 3 days. So we have to just ask one question about the girl, and he will tell the whole story of this girl. Right? That is the sense, or that is how we can measure the curiosity about that girl on that boy. Then what I can do is the same thing applied to the technology. If we are asking a couple of questions about technology or whatever the things you have learned, your answer will be shined with something else you have learned as well. Maybe probably we are first asking about one of the theories. Then we are asking where you ever applied that theory? Yes, I have used that in this particular project, and when I was trying to use it, there was a problem like this, and I searched this. This was the article I have been reading, and there were certain things like this and that. So that question answer is really detailed, right? And it doesn't have the touch of that කටපාඩම් කරපු touch එක නෙමෙයි. It has many things you gathered from anywhere, everywhere, and you combine everything together. So if you are curious, that will happen. Now, evidences for ability of self-learning means, ඕගොල්ලන්ට තියෙනවා, now for an example, you may have followed lot of programs, online courses, and you have certificates, right? Or maybe you have done a lot of projects, and those projects are available in a GitHub. Or you claim that your projects are running here and here, and I have been maybe a freelancer, and my freelancing on this particular platform is something like this. I'm a top-rated seller, and I'm programming there. My programs were accepted by many clients. Now that is where we know that your self-learning ability is really high, and applicable core knowledge, awareness of current trends, extracurricular activities, and analytical skills, those are things we look for from you. Okay, extracurricular activities, when it comes to that, it's not a must, but what we believe is, right, this is a bad example, but since you are university students, that would be okay, right? සාමාන්‍යයෙන් if you are a good team player, you will have you must be in a team. Maybe you are having kind of a football team, netball team, or cricket team, carom team. Mukutma නැත්තම් music, maybe in an orchestra or a choir, then a dancing group, anywhere. You are doing some kind of teamwork. If you have evidences like that, that's a good sense of teamwork. And ඔහොමම නැත්තම් අඩුම තරමේ, this is bad example, don't take it. සිකුරාද හවසට සෙට් වෙලා කන පැලෙන්න ගහන එකක් කියන්නේ that is also a sign of a good teamwork. Okay, that means you can team up, but the example is wrong. Take the right thing from the example. සිකුරාද හවසට සෙට් වෙලා ගහන එකක් කියන්නේ ඌටත් teamwork පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ මිනිස්සුත් එක්ක he can mix and mingle with people. Okay, right, good. Now who are the enemies of your success? Now you want to become a successful person. You have 1 year. What you are going to do is you are going to follow the relevant courses. You are going to read a lot other than what the university has taught you. And you are also going to do some kind of a co-learning. Whatever things you were taught, you are going to try out by yourself. You are going to do a lot of exercises and practical programming and maybe reading a lot of things and all. Now, enemies of success. What's that? You can see right attitude. Here you can see enemies attitude. If your attitude is, "Ayyo, mata meka karanda bad. No, I can't do that." Then that is the problem. That will be the problem you have, right? Your attitude is not good. Make sure you are thinking positive. You think positive and you have the attitude of can do. I can do this. Okay, right. The second thing is no vision. What you are doing is you are targeting a degree. කොහොමරි මේ degree එක ගොඩ දාගන්න ඕනේ, certificate එක ගන්න ඕනේ කී කී හිතේ ඉන්නවා නිසා you are not having a vision. I want to be this person, right? There are some exceptional persons as well who were not doing the degree because he wanted to become someone else. For an example, I will give you one of the examples. I had one of my best friends. He was doing mathematics and from the childhood his dream was to become an architect. අර ගෙවල් අඳින architect ලා ඉන්නේ ගෙවල් හදන. So he wanted to become an architect. So what he wanted to do is he wanted to do some kind of a town planning or some kind of one, but his father didn't like that. Because of that, he has to do science, and the father wanted to make him a doctor or something, I guess. Then he entered to the University of Colombo, the science faculty, right? Thereafter, he felt like, okay, no, this is not the way to go. But because of this parents' vision, he completed the degree. Then he started learning about architects somewhere in the architect school or somewhere. Now he has become a chartered architect. Now that is his vision. He was doing everything targeting that vision. Unfortunately, there was a 3-year drawback for him because of some other influences, but he didn't give up. He was targeting his vision and he became the person who wanted to be in his childhood. So he became the architect. The third thing is bad time management. I would say now, as an industry person having almost 14 years of experience in the industry, what I know is even after these 14 years, being a lecturer, being a visiting lecturer in many universities, and even sometimes we are in committees of whether to decide whether a university is granting a degree permission or not, degree awarding permission or not. So we are doing a lot of things like that, but at least minimum 2 hours, I have to learn new things every day. For this all 14 years, I would say minimum 1 hour is spent to learn something every day. That is the situation. Now, how many of you have children? How many of you are married? How many of you are doing a job, right? And how many of you are having all these things? Doing some extra jobs as well, right? No, you don't have anything. You don't have children. You are not married. You don't need to take care of a family. You don't need to earn money. Most of you will be given at least Mahapola, and your mother and father will be spending on you, right? Now you are telling we don't have enough time to do maybe 1 hour of extra study. Is that the situation? 1 hour of self studies per day. You don't have time. Now that is pretty much because of your bad time management. You should have plenty of time. Otherwise, a person like me who is having 2 kids, who is a 1.5-year-old, the junior one, and 6-year-old, the elder one, and I have to work. I have to do a lot of visiting lectures and all these guest lectures. I'm doing all these things. I have become, I'm working as a general council member of this platform, and still I am having at least 1 to 2 hour time per day to learn something new. What do you think? Right now, I am following a course on Udemy regarding software architect, Google certification of software architecture, the cloud architecture. So we are doing that continuous learning, and this is purely because good time management. We have enough time. We have time to play guitar. We have time to do some music and a lot of things for electronics and all. We have time, right? Okay, the next thing, tuition mentality. Get away from that. Your lecturers are not there to teach you like tuition masters. They will just guide you. They will be giving you the keywords. What you have to do is you have to go and search. You have to go and search the internet, find the things you want to know, and then you have to do your own homework and learn by yourself. The next thing is social media. It's an enemy. How much time you spend on Facebook? How much time you spend on other chat groups and that are Valkata, Navakata, ඔක්කොම එනවා නේද මේ WhatsApp? How much time you spend on these things, right? Useless chats. Now that is an enemy of your success. So be careful, use it wisely, right? The last part is hormone. I don't need to explain. This hormone includes some love hormones as well as adrenaline. පොඩ්ඩක් නිකන් මේ දවස්වල මේ වයසේදී ඕගලන්ට තියෙනවා හිටි කැවෙන ගතිය. පාර යන ලේනෙක්ව පූසෙක් ඇල්ලුවත් පූසව මරන්න තරම් තරහයි අපි යනවා පූසට ගෙන. ලේනට කරපු අසාධාරණයට. Isn't it? Am I right or wrong? That's how you behave. I know that because we have passed your age and we have been into universities. But remember, these hormones will be one of your enemies of success, right? Control them. And also remember, especially this adrenaline will be trickily used by many other people around you. Especially politicians, එතනින් ගියාම ගොඩක් මිනිස්සු මේ ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ නිකන් අර කිටි කැවෙන හිටි ගමන් තද වෙන අසාධාරණේ පේන්න බැරි ගතිය අනවශ්‍ය විදිහට පාවිච්චි කරනවා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ goals වලට යන්න. Right? Be careful. These are things you have to be really careful. Okay, those are enemies of your success. You have been finally spending your time being in jail and everything just to achieve someone else's hidden agenda. Be careful. Social media. This is from Mark Zuckerberg. He has put it in on Facebook. Today I learned my daughter thinks I work at a bookstore. Now Mark Zuckerberg's daughter doesn't know there is something called Facebook. Right? Ask from your sister's or neighbor's child who is just 3 years old what is Facebook. They know it. Okay? But Mark Zuckerberg says that I learned my daughter think I work at a bookstore. They know that how you are being fooled by them just to earn money. That is why I am always telling you be careful, right? Okay. Now what is the plan from now? You have to spend few hours per day to learn something new. That's what the target, or that's what you have to do today onwards. Learn something new and spend few hours extra to learn something new and get prepared for the internship. Now I know that there were many people came to you, BAs, QAs, and all these people, and they have mentioned you, okay, these are things you have to do in order to become a successful employer or successful professional in this particular career, right? So take the examples from them, ask them what are the things that you should know, and have a plan. Plan it properly. This is your enemy, bad time management, no planning, no vision. Those are the enemies, right? Defeat those enemies, then start spending few hours per day to learn something new. Make it a habit until you die. Okay, I'm going to just explain the different roles in a software company. Especially, I'm taking one of the examples from our company. Typically, what will happen is we will have many clients, or we may have some of our products. So Zone 24/7 also has some of the products. Like for an example, we have created a Android operating system as well as an Android device which can be used by blind people. The display is a braille display, right? This was done in 2013, or even before that. So the next thing is we have some autonomous robots and all these things. Those robots and everybody are one of our innovations happened at the company. And when it comes to services, we are catering many clients. Like some of the clients have 80 million customer base, right? So handling 80 million records about customer table in your project, how hard to handle that, right? And every click they made on a website, every click they made on a application or mobile application, we are recording. So we are gathering minimum few petabytes of data per day, and we are using them for analytics purposes. To analyze those data, we are using at least 400 node clusters. CPU 16ක් තියෙන gigabyte 48 RAM තියෙන computers 400ක cluster එකක් development team එකට දීලා තියෙනවා මේ දේවල් වලින් data extract කරන්න analytics. Okay, right. So that kind of a situation. Now what are the different roles we have? Number one is we have developers, obvious. When it comes to a project, the project inception will happen mostly with the marketing team. We have a separate marketing team. That marketing team will be taking, we will try to attract people to our website or to contact us. Then they become leads. Then we are trying to make them kind of into an interaction phase. Where ඒගොල්ලෝ දැන් අපිත් එක්ක interact කරලා අපෙන් ප්‍රශ්න අහලා මෙහෙමයි මෙහෙම එකක් තියෙනවා මොකද කරන්නේ. Now they have kind of interaction. The next thing is to අපි ඒගොල්ලන්ව try කරනවා අපේ proposal එක දීලා මෙන්න මෙහෙමයි මේ වගේ දේවල් අපිට දෙන්න පුළුවන්. We can offer some service like this whether you like. Then they are at a proposal stage. So we will be giving a proposal to them. Then they will be accepting and they will be come up to a agreement with us. Okay, this kind of a software should be delivered. So marketing team together with business analyst and development team, maybe especially with the software architect, do some pre-sales work like this. එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලෝ හිතුවට software එකක code එක ලියන එකෙන් පටන් ගන්න කියලා, not the case. It starts with marketing, right? The second thing, once you accepted that project, now the business analyst will analyze the business and suggest how it can be enhanced. Then he will be writing down the business requirement with the support of user experience engineers as well as software architects. What do you mean by user experience engineer? User experience engineer is a person who is thinking about the experience, end user experience. For an example, that user experience engineer may suggest, okay, remove this button. When you do this, it automatically this should happen rather than clicking. Then if you think about that user experience engineering, they will be providing the prototypes and all these things to the proposal and they are presenting them. Then the software architects will be telling that how to cater the non-functional requirements, especially like how to make sure the availability is there. There are certain legal requirements. You know that, right? For an example, in United States, if your website is not compliant with these blind and all the other people, it is called accessibility compliance. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔයාගේ වෙබ්සයිට් එක විරුද්ධව නඩු දාන්න පුළුවන් රජයට. This cannot be used by blind people. Because of that, you will get sued, right? So legal aspects are also there. Thereafter, the project will come as a business requirement specification, and the software architect will be turning it into a architectural specification. Now there will be a typical process that you are talking about. The developers will be developed maybe using Scrum-like process, or maybe using kind of a waterfall model or spiral model, anywhere, whatever the suitable way. Then the QA guys will be doing QA, and we will be having many results. For an example, every 2 weeks we will be delivering something, and the QA might be testing, right? There are many ways, many methodologies we are using. I'm not going to talk about everything. Then there is a phase called UAT, user acceptance test. That will be done by the client. So client will be testing our software whether it is running fine or not. Then we will be putting it to the production. Now there is another important role called DevOps throughout this process. All these automations, infrastructure creation, and automated delivery, and all these things will be done by a DevOps. And DevOps is a culture. Remember, it's not a job. You may learn, you may read about that, and you may find a lot of things, right? The QA engineers, you are supposed to do certain automations using Selenium, RESTful, and all these things. Then finally, the things will be deployed into the system. Then again, we have these DevOps engineers and the people who are monitoring this system and maintaining this system. The downtime, whether it is running properly, if there is a crash, or is there any other unusual error logs, they have to continuously monitor 24 hours this system for maybe a couple of years until our warranty period ends. So that is the overall software life cycle, and different roles in software company as well. Last word about the career you have, right? There are 3 things you have to think about: purpose, values, and passion. Why you are doing a job is there is a purpose, right? Paying the bills, and you want to get some kind of a home, or building a house, or maybe you want to buy a car, and there is a purpose. And the second thing is what you value. For an example, you might be valuing the relationship with many other people, or maybe your values are like you want to deal with kids. There are certain people like that. I love to be with kids. There are certain people I like to help the others. Right? There are a lot of values. I evaluate what I value. There are certain people, they are not just valuing the salary. They want something beyond that. Okay. The third thing is passion. What you love to do. Is it your hobby? Right? Now remember, if your job doesn't satisfy all 3 things, you won't be having kind of a passion plus income, right? So you have to go into this cross-cutting section. You can see now, for an example, you have a purpose of doing it. You have the passion of doing it, but you don't have these values. You don't value doing it. You love it and you are good at it, but it takes up 80% of your life, right? Why? Since you don't value what you are doing, you are really slow, and your life is wasted because you are doing something you are not valuing. Because these things are really kind of the values and passion. Those words are really kind of ඔයා ටිකක් අලුත් වචන ඔය university ඉන්න කාලේ ආයේ. එහෙම නේද? But remember, end of the day, what you value should be done, right? Then if you think about values and passion, you love the mission of your work, it fits your life. For an example, දැන් මෙහෙම එකක් තියෙනවා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ළමයි එක්ක ඉන්න ආසයි. ඒක නිසා there is a volunteer group who are catering the children and you are passionate about that as well. ඔයගලන්ට ඉංග්‍රීසි හොඳට උගන්වන්නත් පුළුවන්. So team එකක් ඉන්නවා ඒගොල්ලෝ හොයනවා volunteers ලව මේ team එකට ගිහිල්ලා මේ ළමයින්ට ගිහින් ඉංග්‍රීසි උගන්වන්න. දැන් ඕගොල්ලෝ යනවා එයාගේ පස්සේ යනවා ගිහිල්ලා උගන්වනවා. What you get? You achieve your value. You are really happy, right? Your hobby. And you are passionately teaching the kids and you can do it as well. But what is the missing part in your life? The purpose. Why you are doing that? Are you clear? You are not achieving your purpose. You may not have an enough income. Right? Then අන්තිමට බලද්දී මාස 10ක් අවුරුද්දක් දෙකක් ගිහින් බලද්දී ඔයගොල්ලෝ දුප්පත්. වයසට ගිහින් බලද්දී හම්බ කරපු දෙයක්වත් නැහැ මොකුත් නැහැ. ඔයගොල්ලෝ දිහා බලන්න කෙනෙකුත් නැහැ. Have you seen lot of artists, the singers and all, they face the same situation. They are really good at singing. They value the collaboration, relationships and all these things. They love music, but end of the day, they don't have money. So those are kind of category like that. So remember, you cannot avoid any of these things. You have to think about all three things and got into the right job. So the final word I would say, final job, that the middle of this diagram won't be sometimes IT. Right? You don't value the IT outcome. Then you have to definitely think about another path and you have to go through that path. Right? But any path you are taking should satisfy all three things. Remember. Okay? That's all from me. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you. And I hope that you have taken some kind of a good thoughts out of this session. And remember, I wasn't into technical things much, but I wanted to make sure that you are really good at these things. Okay, thank you.